La abogada Margaret W. Wong tiene 45 años de experiencia en leyes de inmigración y ha sido premiada en múltiples ocasiones como una de las mejores abogadas del país. Maneja todo tipo de casos migratorios a nivel nacional y tiene oficinas en 9 ciudades: Cleveland, Nueva York, Memphis, Nashville, Atlanta, Columbus, Raleigh, North Carolina, Chicago y Minneapolis. No hay caso de inmigración que no podamos manejar. Es la abogada Margaret Wong, la que sí sabe de inmigración. 216-259-8897. 216-259-8897.
Yo soy Margaret Wong.
Buenos días, bienvenidos a este espacio Camino del Inmigrante con la abogada Margaret W y por supuesto Juan Carlos Brando. Como cada miércoles a las 9:30 de la mañana hacemos esta conexión con ustedes para hablarles de migración, para aclarar dudas a través de sus preguntas en nuestras redes sociales. Recuerde que usted tiene una conexión directa con la abogada al 216-259-8897 y hoy vamos a estar hablando en vivo. Aproveche, ya comience a escribir sus preguntas porque le damos la bienvenida a los anfitriones de este espacio, Juan Carlos Brando y por supuesto la abogada Margaret Wong. Buenos días,
Buenos
Juan.
días, Alicia. Good morning, Ms. Wong. How are you doing today?
I am very good and thank you.
Thank you so much. Nos dice la abogada que está muy bien en el día de hoy. Y bueno, Alicia, tenemos muchísimas preguntas con respecto
Muchísimas preguntas, Juan.
A todos los cambios, ¿no?
Pues bueno, muchísimas preguntas y las cosas viven cambiando. La eliminación del título 42, que aunque fue en agosto, ahora es que México lo hace efectivo, pero lo que ha causado más conmoción esta semana, Juan Carlos, y por eso queremos que el que nos esté escuchando, que sea de Venezuela o que viva aquí en los Estados Unidos, nos comience a mandar sus preguntas, es la política migratoria, la nueva política migratoria bajo el gobierno de Biden, que algunos, Juan, abogada, han entendido que es un alivio, otros que es discriminación. 24,000 venezolanos podrán venir si usted tiene un familiar o una persona que se haga responsable de ese venezolano por 2 años y que le garantice al gobierno que usted tiene para mantener a esa persona. Esa persona podrá estar aquí por 2 años y también podrá recibir un permiso de trabajo.
So, Ms. Wong, this has been very interesting and a lot of things are changing in the atmosphere with the immigration. But a lot of Venezuelan people are thinking about this new process that the government just established and how you have to prove that you are the qualified person to sponsor someone and to be able to support them for at least 2 years. So what is on top of the table right now regarding to that?
Yes. So basically, the sponsor need to only file the I-134. I still remember when I came to America in 1969, my sponsor filed the I-134. There are 2 types of sponsorship. One is the 864, which is the legal green card sponsor. So anytime if I want to bring my sister to America with a green card, I need to do the 864. New law came in like 20, 30 years ago saying that the petitioner has to be the sponsor. So if I file the I-130 for my sister, I have to do the 864 for my sister. That's the legal 864, have nothing to do with the I-134. I-134 is a legal sponsor, but there's really no legal liabilities. So for example, I'm pending asylum. I filed 589. I filed an asylum claim. I have a work permit. I could also do the legal sponsor for the Venezuelans. So you don't necessarily need a lot of vetting for the I-134 because you don't even need to have money in the bank. It's not like an 864 when you have a minimum of 25,000 for 2 people. You add about 5,000 for each additional sponsor. So I-134, number one, the vetting won't be hard. I mean, there's really no vetting because it's just someone you know that's willing to sign papers for you as your legal sponsor. So what happened if he filed bankruptcy? What happened if he went on welfare? That sponsor is not liable. Now, but more than that, the interesting thing about Venezuela is when it was first announced, I really thought they have to come through land border, which means there's only 2 borders, Canada and Mexico. But I read the every day new information is coming in. It could be by air. So the air thing means that they could actually get the I-134. It should be notarized though. So whoever in America signed the I-134 should be notarized, Federal Express it, or send it to Venezuela or Colombia for the Venezuelan person. You also cannot have dual nationality. So for example, I'm Venezuelan, but I also have a Spanish passport. I'm Venezuelan, I also have a Mexican passport. I'm Venezuelan, you couldn't be Chinese because China would not give you a Chinese passport if you already got a Venezuelan passport. So if you're dual nationality, that's no good. So if I'm born and raised in Venezuela, now I'm living in Colombia, so the sponsor could actually send the I-134 to the address in Colombia. He needs to bring his proof of residence, because you could not be deported from America for the last 5 years. So for example, I have clients who already call me saying that, hey, I was deported a year ago. I never left the country. Can I go back now, like to Colombia, to Venezuela, and then come back again through this parole? The answer is no, because parole means that, no, that's what I think, right? Because it's just, I've been doing this for like 45, 50 years. Parole means it doesn't override the 3-year, 10-year bar. So for example, I was here undocumented, I already have a final order of removal in the past 5 years. This law strictly says that as a Venezuelan, you could not come back if you were deported within the next 5 years. So for example, I'm never deported. I already have a deportation order last year. Can I leave today to go back either to Venezuela and to Colombia and come back on parole? The answer is probably no, because there's a 3-year, 10-year bar. 3-year, 10-year bar means that if I'm out of status 180 days or less than 180 days, or then you have a 3-year bar. More than 360 days, you have a 10-year bar. So you cannot parole back, because they cannot give you parole because you overstayed for more than a year and more than 180 days. So that's a 3-year, 10-year bar. I also have a client who called us just yesterday. She's a Chinese. She carries a Venezuelan passport, but she was born in China. She came to Venezuela, become a citizen when she was 5 years old. She came legally with a tourist visa. She's only here for 3 or 4 months. Can she go back to Colombia or even go to China and come back legally under parole? The answer is yes, because she entered legally. Number one. Number two is she doesn't have to come through a Mexican border, because she won't have a visa to go to Venezuelans don't, but I've heard they've been denying entry. So she can just go to China, bring evidence that she only came back and forth legally. Number one. Number two is bring an I-134 that's notarized by a legal sponsor. Number three, proof residence that you're living in America for the past 3 or 4 months or however, and then live legally in Colombia or Panama or Venezuela. Then if she, let's assume, come through Atlanta airport or New York airport or Chicago airport, she may be allowed in, even though she had a tourist visa, I would presume. That's what I was thinking. So these are issues that it's not everybody who could just, from Venezuela and come, but they will only allow the first 24,000 people, which means it's interesting because already there's 2.7 million people at the southern border for the past 10 months.
Yes.
In that prospect, 24,000 is not that many. But that's a legal way to allow people to come. I'm sure there's still illegal people, because let's assume 2 months ago, I already started walking to Mexico. As of now, I'm already in Mexico. It doesn't apply to you, because you could not leave Mexico, go to Colombia now and come back, because that's what the laws say. Cross without authority between ports of entry at the date of this announcement. This announcement was announced on October 12th. So read the situation carefully and think. It's not just parole, it's the whole immigration law. What is a parole? Parole is a legal document to allow you to come legally to America and also apply to a work permit. But after parole, what are we going to do for these 24,000? They may re-extend parole, or they may extend a TPS. Who knows? But that's the question that I have.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Wong. Bueno, Alicia, la abogada, nos dice, pues, con respecto a esto de la migración de los venezolanos especialmente, algunos piensan que, bueno, que está bien, otros no, piensan que quizás no está bien la situación, pero había que hacer algo porque era excesivo el ingreso de personas. Y bueno, hay algunos que quedaron afectados por esto. Sin embargo, hay reglas que no son nuevas. Hay
Así
reglas
es.
que tienen más de 30 años. Por ejemplo, para tú solicitar a alguien con la I-134, tienes que demostrar que tienes el dinero suficiente para sostener a esa persona durante ese periodo. Entonces, por eso te piden la 864, que es una forma que existe hace más de 30 años, no es una forma nueva, pero tú con eso tienes que demostrar cuánto ganas, si realmente cuántos son los gastos que tú tienes, cuántos dependes tienes, para que tú puedas hacer esa solicitud y que te la puedan aprobar de inmediato. Ahora, lo que ha ido cambiando todos los días es porque un día sale la norma, al día siguiente empieza una forma de aplicación, otra forma de aplicación. Anteriormente solo se podía hacer por un puerto de entrada terrestre, pero ahora ya se puede hacer vía aeroportuaria. Y todas las cosas van a ir cambiando. A veces sale una nueva regla por la urgencia, pero luego se nos va diciendo poco a poco cuáles son los procedimientos para ir aplicando por cada una de esas solicitudes, ¿no? Entonces, si yo quiero traer a un familiar, ese familiar, yo tengo que demostrar que tengo cómo sostenerlo, pero no solamente me van a investigar a mí, sino que van a investigar a ese familiar que estoy trayendo a los Estados Unidos y ver si no va a ser algo efímero que yo pueda mantener a esa persona. Va a ser por un tiempo limitado también, solo son 24,000 aplicaciones que están abiertas para hacer. Y si una persona estuvo viviendo ilegalmente en los Estados Unidos, se va del país y trata de regresar con un sponsor, le van a negar la aplicación.
Uy, importantísimo esa aclaración,
Eso
Juan
no se
Carlos.
puede hacer, eso es algo que nos mencionó la abogada. Ahora, la pregunta es, si tú viviste o estuviste de visita con un Visitor B1, B2 visa, o sea, una visa de turista, estuviste aquí por un tiempo y regresas a tu país, probablemente si no tuviste ningún overstay, no tienes ningún problema de regresar con un sponsor. Ahora, si tú entraste de esa forma, probablemente tienes una visa, entonces todavía podrías entrar con tu visa. O sea, son muchas formas las que hay ahora. Hace muchos años, para traer personas de otros países, eran procesos ciertamente complicados. Este no es uno de los procesos más complicados, pero la persona que va a hacer la aplicación tiene que estar dispuesta a que va a ser investigada.
A mí me llamó mucho la atención, Juan Carlos, el hecho de que el pasado ya domingo llegaron las primeras 4 personas bajo este nuevo reglamento y le pregunto, ¿pudo haberse hecho este proceso de forma tan rápida o fue una forma para de una u otra manera incentivar a que las personas solicitaran este tipo de entrada a los Estados Unidos?
So, Ms. Wong, this kind of process, and knowing that 4 people came through an airport 4 days ago, and those are the first 4 people that are coming, is this something that is going to happen really fast, or is just that the government is showing that they are really talking seriously about this situation, that they are going to take care of all of the applications? So this is casual, or it's going to be like that?
I think the 2 issues, like you mentioned, how do you vet? So what happens if I don't know anybody in America to sign my I-134? I just sign someone's name. I go to Google and just sign one person. How do you vet that? You know, how do the Chicago airport know the I-134 person is real? Number one. Number 2 is the process does say complete the vaccination, which is easy. You know, you just have to do all the vaccination. But more than that, rigorous biometric, that means they need fingerprint. So who's going to do that fingerprint? Is it the airport people? And how do we make sure that the airline will take these people on the plane to America, because the airline doesn't want to accept liability Because if, for example, Chicago Airport deny entry to these people, the airline's responsibility is that the next plane back, they have to bring all these people back. So will the airline board? Like there was a time when COVID was very strong in China, and if the Chinese people doesn't have the valid green card and the valid passport and everything, and prove that they came to America and left within 6 months, the airlines don't put these people on the plane. So they have to go to another country like Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia to board the plane to come back to see it. So because America denied entry to a lot of these Chinese who did not come back within 6 months. So these are all the questions I have. And that's exactly what you are asking is how do we know the airline will even bring them here? And once they're here, how fast can they be processed so they can leave the airport? See, these are the issues because there's really no application. It's not like I file a tourist visa, I fill in the DS-160, I have to pay the $120, I have to make for an appointment in the American embassy, I have to go in line, they have to vet me, they have to ask me questions. This $24,000 is just coming to the airport with all these forms. As long as you pass, you have no criminal record, you pass biometrics, and you have all the vaccination, it seems like you'll be let in. So this is, you're right, it's very weird. But that's how they're doing it for the Ukrainians, who's very quiet lately. That's how they're doing it in Afghanistan. But 100% or 97% of Afghanistans are denied. So who knows? But those you have to do the I-131 because those are advanced paroles. For Afghanistan, so the parole were denied. The Ukrainians, same process, you just need the I-134. But a lot of Ukrainians enter legally to Mexico and were waiting in line to come through the line with the I-134.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Bueno, Alicia, nos dice la abogada que esa es una gran pregunta. Porque el problema no es que entren aquí a los Estados Unidos con el proceso. El tema es que si ellos se suben a un avión y la persona no puede entrar a los Estados Unidos porque no tiene la documentación, en esa misma aerolínea, en el siguiente vuelo que sale a Venezuela o que va al país de donde viene, en el siguiente vuelo lo van a mandar de regreso y eso es pérdida para la aerolínea. Entonces, la pregunta no es si van a entrar a los Estados Unidos, la pregunta es si lo van a dejar subirse al avión en el país de donde viene. Posiblemente, si tiene respaldo y copias de todos los documentos, podrían dejarlo subirse, pero si no, entonces las aerolíneas quizás no van a querer cargar con esa responsabilidad, porque, por ejemplo, cuando era el tiempo del COVID, desde China venían muchas personas o intentaban venir personas y tenían su green card, tenían su nacionalidad, su pasaporte americano, pero ellos querían venir a los Estados Unidos y en China, antes de subirlos al avión, querían ver que tuviera la vacunación, que se hubiera hecho los exámenes, que no tuviera ningún tipo de posibilidad de contaminación, o sea, que todo estuviera perfectamente en orden para permitirles subirse al avión, porque si no, entonces, si no dejaban entrar a la persona en los Estados Unidos, se los subían en el avión y se los mandaban de regreso allá a China, y eso no es conveniente.
Por eso me llama la atención, Juan Carlos, porque realmente todos los requerimientos que nos ha hablado de la abogada Wong, tener el patrocinador, pasar unos rigurosos controles biométricos, tener las vacunas completas, encontré un poco extraño, pero bienvenidos. Una de ellas hasta habló de su llegada a los Estados Unidos, porque como fue tan rápido el proceso y todos estos requisitos que se piden, pues entonces si alguna de las personas que nos están escuchando están pasando por este proceso o quieren venir y tienen el patrocinador para venir y caben dentro de esos 24,000 venezolanos y que cumplan con estos requisitos, pues bienvenidos sean, Juan Carlos. Yo creo que todo lo que tenga que ver con salir de Venezuela, que está en un momento tan complejo, es un alivio.
Ok, Alicia, vamos con las preguntas. El público
Así
nos está
es.
escribiendo ahora mismo. Comenzamos.
Vamos con las preguntas y recordar que así es que usted puede marcar al 216-259-8897 y nos llega esta primera pregunta y nos dicen: a mi suegra se le venció su green card, ya aplicó con la I-90, no le ha llegado su tarjeta nueva y quiere viajar. ¿Cómo puede ella hacer una extensión de 24 meses?
Okay, so Ms. Wong, my mother-in-law, her green card got expired and she filed for the I-90, but she has not gotten her new green card and she wants to travel abroad. So how can we do to get a 24-month extension for the green card?
Okay, it depends. If you filed it online, you should get the receipt notice in a matter of hours. If you filed it in paper, you should get the receipt notice 3 weeks to about 12 weeks. Depends on when you file it. In the months ago, I-90 extension is 12 months, and they increased it to 18 months. Now the receipt notice is 24 months, but it depends on when you file it. But if you need to travel and your receipt notice is only 12 or 18 months, you can always make an InfoPass appointment in the uscis.gov. So once you punch in uscis.gov, you go in and say InfoPass, PASS appointment, and then they'll give you the city. So now you make an appointment with the city, city and state. Like in Ohio, we have 4 CIS offices. So once the appointment is made, New York, I heard, is like running 90, 120 days, but Ohio, you can get one in a matter of days. So it depends on where you live. Then you can go get a stamp, and then you can start traveling. But the receipt notice is 24 months. So another thing is, I have some clients who did that. I think it's crazy. Pay another fee, go on the internet and file another one. Immigration is going to yell at me, but now you get 24 months. So if that's easier for you, just pay it. It's like $400, $500. Go on the internet, file another extension, show the old, because nowadays you can file it with a form 1450 and just pay it, because that's a form that you can pay with a debit card and credit card. And then you get 24 months. That may be easier instead of running around to go to InfoPass appointment and stuff if you need that extension to travel.
Ok, interesante lo que nos dice la abogada. Y dice, bueno, inmigración me va a insultar, dice la abogada, me van a gritar. They're gonna yell at me. Pero bueno, son cosas que, si ellos no estuvieran tardando tanto en los procesos, no habría que buscar otros caminos. Dice la abogada, bueno, no sabemos cuánto tiempo va a tardar en llegarle su nueva green card, pero sí, yo le recomiendo que haga la aplicación por la extensión. Automáticamente, cuando usted hace la aplicación, la puede hacer online, es la forma 1450. Usted hace esa aplicación y ya automáticamente con el recibo de la aplicación y con la tarjeta, la green card vencida, se presume que usted está esperando por los 24 meses de extensión, así que ya tácitamente se reconduce para esos 24 meses que puede tener la green card.
Nosotros recibimos...
Por eso nos dice la abogada, immigration is gonna yell at me. O sea, me van a gritar, pero tengo que decirlo porque yo tengo que trabajar en beneficio.
No, y es una gran alternativa, Juan Carlos, con tantos retrasos. Imagínese, se queda esa pobre suegra sin viajar. Y usted en este momento puede mandar sus preguntas. Estamos en vivo con la abogada Margaret W, más de 45 años en el ejercicio migratorio, defendiendo a los inmigrantes con pasión. Marque ahora el número desde cualquier lugar al 216-259-8897, Juan, y la abogada va a estar con nosotros el próximo 10 de noviembre. 10 de noviembre la abogada va a estar aquí en Atlanta, así que comience a llamar para hacer sus citas. Nos llegan más preguntas, estamos en vivo a través de nuestro Facebook y dice, yo entré legalmente a los Estados Unidos en julio del 2021. Hice mi solicitud de asilo el 7 de diciembre del 2021 y en agosto del 2022 solicité mi permiso de trabajo. Me llegó una carta negando mi permiso de trabajo porque supuestamente no habían transcurrido los 180 días. ¿Puedo enviar mi solicitud de permiso de trabajo de nuevo? Gracias. Qué interesante pregunta.
Ok, y tiene otra pregunta que continúa, Alicia.
Nos dice otra pregunta. Perdí mi primera cita de las huellas. Pero nunca me llegó el correo de esa cita. Estoy esperando nueva cita de huellas. ¿Podría esta ser la razón para que le negaran el permiso porque no he puesto mis huellas? Muchas gracias.
Okay, so Ms. Wong, this person entered legally to the United States on July 2021 on a B1, B2 visitor visa. He filed his asylum application on December 7th, 2021. And in August 2022, he filed for his work permit. He received a letter denying the permit because supposedly there were not transcurred the 180 days. The question is, can I send a new application
Yes,
for the work permit?
do a new 765 without fee, because the first one is free, since they never gave you a first one. Those were probably the Trump days, because Trump specifically said you cannot get a work permit until after 365 days. So that was a time that you had to join ASAP or another group to get the 150, because that was a class action. It's just complicated. So it doesn't matter now. Instead of looking at why, just file another free 1765 on there. They'll say what category, you say C08, and then you should get it. The receipt should come. I don't think you can file online. I think 765 you could file online, but asylum work permit you cannot file online. So I would file it together with the 1450. Then you don't need to attach a personal check, because money would just come from your from the Department of Treasury, from a credit card or debit card into the Homeland Security. Then you get a receipt in 3 weeks to 12 weeks. If it's an extension, which is not, because it's still your first one, you don't have the automatic 1 year extension, but you should get the work permit now. They're making it a little bit faster, maybe 3 months to 6 months, but definitely file another one now. Don't wait, don't argue. The practice of immigration law is don't complain, don't explain, just do whatever the instruction tells you to do. Because those people, they hold on to our lives. They don't give it to us, they don't give it to us. They'll send you back and reject filings. It's nuts.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Sí, Alicia, nos dice la abogada que definitivamente sí puede enviar la aplicación de nuevo. Lo que pasa es que hay gente que todavía estaba trabajando con el sistema de Trump, que él dijo que no se podía hacer la aplicación del permiso de trabajo hasta que transcurrieran 365 días de haber ingresado a los Estados Unidos, y puede ser esa la razón de esa decisión. Sin embargo, hay la posibilidad de hacer esa nueva aplicación. Lo único que ha perdido quizás es tiempo. Hágala de nuevo, envíe toda la información, no tiene que enviar el fee porque el primer permiso de trabajo es gratis, y ojalá que lo puedan hacer. Ahora, la otra pregunta, the next question is one that this person is doing, is the same person. He says, I missed my first biometrics appointment because I never received the letter from immigration that I had my appointment. I sent an email and they said that they were going to send me a new date or a new appointment date. Could this be the reason that they are denying me my work permit because I haven't put my biometrics?
You need to look at, that's another thing about immigration. Do not second guess. Just read what they tell you, because those people don't take things personally. Because I have clients who say, oh, maybe they don't like me. Oh, maybe they don't like China. Maybe they don't like Venezuela. It has nothing to do with it. It's just they are stupid and we are more stupid. You know, we always, kowtow to them. I would go ahead and file a new one, number one. Number two is maybe since they didn't give it to you, print a copy of your email, print a copy because you never got it. Maybe, I don't know where you live, maybe just go to the fingerprint in Cleveland. They're on the 12th or 13th floor, I think it's 13th. Just go there and show them and say, can you do prints? If that officer at that time, the supervisor is nice, they may even, you live in Atlanta, but Atlanta is not as nice. But it's okay. I would just go there and say, I couldn't get a response. My work permit was denied. Do you mind taking my fingerprint now? Sometimes they may, depends. Atlanta is a bigger office. I don't know if they will. Cleveland, normally they will. Ohio has a pretty nice office. I mean, normally I just handwrite a note and say, can you please do us this favor? But Atlanta, I would try it, and sometimes maybe go back 2 times because they change shifts, change supervisor, maybe try it. But read the denial and see why. that's why they tell you, then actually you could have done a motion to reopen, but why pay another $600-700 for a motion to reopen, even though they're giving you another 60 days to do it? I would just file a new work permit. File it and then try that. If not, keep pushing and call. If not, go to the ombudsman's office and ask them. But you need that fingerprint. On the other hand, though, it doesn't matter once you get the work permit, because you don't, I think you need that work permit more than you need that interview, because sometimes you want to slow it down, especially for new arrivals, because Biden now, any new arrivals that came to America after May of 2022, they're expediting all these hearings. So you don't want to get expedited because you need time. Time solves it. It's like drinking nice wine, making nice cheese. Time gives us time to solve the problems. You don't want to go to court so fast.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Bueno, nos dice Alicia, la abogada, que en este caso, pues sí podría ser esta una de las razones por las cuales le están negando el permiso de trabajo. Usted podría de pronto ir hasta la oficina y caminar en la oficina, llevarse los recibos y todo lo que usted tiene y decirle, mire, a mí nunca me ha llegado el correo, no me ha llegado la información, he pedido la cita varias veces y me están negando mi permiso de trabajo porque no he podido colocar las huellas. ¿Podría usted, por favor, permitirme colocar mis huellas aquí en esta oportunidad? Y ya así van a tener mis biometrics. Esa sería quizás la forma de hacerlo. Pero en algunas oficinas quizás no son tan amables como pueden ser en Cleveland, y la oficina de Atlanta es bastante grande y quizás no sean tan nice, tan amables para recibir a una persona que solo hace un walk-in. Así que, bueno, habría que ver si lo puede hacer, pero inténtelo. ¿Qué va a perder con intentarlo? Que le hagan una mala cara, pues no va a perder nada. Es solo una cara fea que le van a hacer y ya.
El mundo es de los que se atreven. Usted en este momento atrévase a solucionar su problema migratorio. Pierda el miedo. 216-259-8897. 216-259-8897. La abogada va a estar con nosotros el próximo 10 de noviembre. Nos llega esta pregunta y nos dice: mi papá tenía varias propiedades en USA, pero se nos venció la visa y cuando tratamos de renovarla nos la negaron. Él falleció hace un año y todas las propiedades y sus cuentas bancarias están en los Estados Unidos. Nunca nos quedamos más del tiempo permitido y hemos viajado cientos de veces a USA. Mi pregunta es si ahora, con este proceso, un primo que vive en Orlando me podría pedir. Mi padre dejó millones de dólares en propiedades y cuentas bancarias.
Okay, Ms. Wong, this is an interesting question. My father had several properties in the United States, but our tourist visa got expired, and when we tried to renew it, it was denied. He passed away 1 year ago, and all of his properties and bank accounts are in the United States. We never overstayed in the hundreds of times that we have traveled to the United States. My question is, if now with this new process for Venezuelans, a cousin that lives in Orlando and is waiting for asylum could file for me. My father left millions of dollars in properties and bank accounts.
I'm sorry. Then why didn't you do, I feel so bad for you. You could have done EB-5. In those days, it's only $500,000 for Venezuelans, because you're right, in the olden days, a lot of Venezuelans, they don't want to stay here. They just want to come and visit and leave, Absolutely have your cousin do, he has a property C8. Absolutely have him do the I-134 Federal Express to you. But I don't know if they'll do Venezuela, maybe go to Colombia, Panama, whatever. And then you can just come in with that I-134. And I don't know what status is your father, if he was a citizen. I wonder if he filed for you, if he had a green card. How did he get this green card? Do you have 245I and stuff? And I even wonder if you could come into America as a parole after 9, you don't even need 90 days, because it's not like a tourist visa. That's a change of immigrant intent. Maybe do the EB-5. Nowadays it's $800,000 investment. but depends. You need nowadays it's all personal investing now. They won't do a regional center. So once you come here, file adjustment of status. There's a new law on EB5 only, saying that if you filed a 526 and invest the 800,000, you can adjust status. So parole is a legal entry. Also, because it's employment, you're allowed 180 days because parole entry is different from a tourist visa entry, which is a legal entry. Parole is semi-legal and stuff like that. So I'll check for you. I'm pretty sure if you come on parole, you can file adjustment of status to a green card. Then you get a work permit instead of filing asylum, because the fact that you've been coming back and forth, they may think asylum is weird. Your father never wanted to leave Venezuela, but I thought you said your father also have property in America. In any event, on parole, maybe you can do adjustment of status into a investment green card. Then you don't have to leave and come back, because parole is only good for that 12 months, 24 months, whatever time they gave you. And then what? You know?
Yeah.
So you can actually get a work permit under parole. But in the meantime, once you file adjustment of status to that of a green card, you can also get the C9 work permit, green card work permit. And parole sometimes gives you, parole normally is 1 year, but work permit is 2 years now. This is C9 work permit.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Yeah, and this person is adding that father never wanted to leave Venezuela. He never wanted to live in another country. That's the thing. And if they could do the process through Costa Rica, because they have properties there, and maybe do the flight from Costa Rica.
Yes, you could, because the law did not specify what. Just have your friend do the 134, notarize it, go to any bank, it's free, notarize it. On the form, they ask how much money do you have? You don't need too much money. Go through Costa Rica airport and come through. Costa Rica can go through Miami. I heard they're pretty nice there, but go through an airport that you're comfortable with. Because sometimes it's in the airports, because if you're lucky, the officer is very nice. If you're unlucky, the officer could be really mean. And don't act arrogant, because sometimes being someone, you probably have education, because some people, if they have something, they hide their shyness, they act arrogant. Don't act arrogant, dress proper, dress nice, take away your beard, no tattoo, no earrings, no stupid haircuts.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Sí, nos dice la abogada pues que en este caso es un poco extraño y que lamenta mucho que esto haya pasado. Que, bueno, ella podría aplicar quizás por la visa de inversionista si el señor tenía tanto dinero, que la pregunta es por qué nunca se quiso venir con una visa de inversionista. Sí. Y esta persona agrega que su padre nunca quiso salir de Venezuela y que definitivamente sí pueden hacer el proceso por medio de Costa Rica. Viajando hasta Costa Rica podrían hacer el proceso y unirse aquí a los Estados Unidos, pero que definitivamente sí, su primo puede pedirle a usted y usted puede venirse a los Estados Unidos con este nuevo proceso que es bastante rápido y que le podría ayudar muchísimo.
No, y tienen como demostrar el dinero porque está aquí en los Estados Unidos. Juan Carlos, ¿tenemos tiempo para otra pregunta?
Creo que ya no nos queda tiempo, Alicia.
Nos pasamos hoy, creo, sí.
Nos pasamos 10 minutos ya.
Bueno, definitivamente usted, si en este momento tiene un caso migratorio, solamente tiene que llamar al 216-259-8897. Juan, recordar que la abogada va a estar con nosotros el próximo 10 de noviembre. Comience a hacer su cita marcando al 216-259-8897 porque el tiempo de inmigración es ahora, Juan Carlos.
Así es. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for your time today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Chao, Alicia. Hasta la próxima. Muchísimas gracias.
La abogada Margaret W. Wong tiene 45 años de experiencia en leyes